Oh, yeah. Levying war. Now, treason against the people of the state consists in levying war against the people of the state, or adhering to its enemies, or giving them aid and comfort. Treason is a Class A felony punishable by death. Mm-mm. Now, what is treason? Is it this idea that when you do know of the law and you refuse to enforce it because you decided that you were going to levy war against the people of this state and every state, and you were going to give aid and comfort to those in the police department? You were going to give aid and comfort to those in the sheriff's department. You were going to give aid and comfort to the judges that did violate federal laws. And you thought, well, we're just not going to do it. We won't remove the dissolution of marriage, even though we do know that Paul did not receive any notice of the court hearings, even though we know we don't have jurisdiction to dissolve a United Nations marriage certificate, and even though we do know that Paul did not receive a copy of the dissolution of marriage. Now, this whole time you sat there saying, well, he's going to have to motion the court. But the court has committed the crime of treason. Now, for every judge of the United States, every oath, yes. How many of you have been misprisioning treason? Yes. Where you can be found guilty of the crime, a misprison of treason? Yeah. Every person having knowledge of the commission of treason who conceals the same, and does not, as soon as may be, disclose such treason to the governor or justice of the Supreme Court, or a judge of either the Court of Appeals or the Superior Court, shall be guilty of misprision of treason and punished by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by imprisonment in a state correctional facility for not more than 5 years, or in a county jail for up to 364 days. Yes. Now, I gave you a copy of RI.PDF. You say it doesn't violate the laws because in your discretion you're protecting the women and children. I say it does violate the requirements of the VAWA. Yes, that does happen to be a congressional law that was paid for, as in publication and printing. Yes, and was disseminated to all of those in Congress. Now, let's say it's 5 years, $10,000. For those in CPS, yes, just give me every one of them in every state that said I was a deadbeat dad. I'm going to want you tried for misprision of treason. Now, there must be some county jail for up to 364 days. That's similar to a gross misdemeanor. Yes, it is. The same gross misdemeanor of the state laws where, as you as a mandatory reporter, yes, guilty of a gross misdemeanor because I've been to court numerous times. See, there was this allegation of violating the restraint provisions of the protection order. Yeah. On December 31st of 2015. It's a serious crime per se. Yes. It's a gross misdemeanor for each of the counts. Yes. And I could spend up to 1 year in jail. Yes. And a $5,000 fine. Yeah. Now, since you refuse to exonerate me right now, is there some reason that misprision of treason wouldn't be considered the same gross misdemeanor of the mandatory reporter? Yes. But instead of being charged with, oops, they must have written that misprision of treason, yes, as being a second additional charge of the mandatory reporter. Poop. Now, I did email CPS. I did email the crisis responders. Yeah. I emailed the police department, Port Townsend. Yeah. Squim. Mm. Port Angeles. The sheriff's department, Jefferson County Sheriff's. Now, what's the difference between being charged with misprision of treason? Yes. And being charged with violating state law that makes you a mandatory reporter. I would think misprision of treason means that you forfeit all your assets. Why don't you get me the assets of all the mandatory reporters? Yes, Because my thought is, I get a lot more money for the charge of misprision of treason. You lose your retirements, pooch. You lose your assets, pooch. You might get 1 day in jail, yes, and then 363 days suspended, yes, Judge Porter. Isn't that how you do it in court? Because I've been to court a lot of times. Well, you didn't enforce federal laws. Mm-mm. You didn't do what the law requires. You refuse to acknowledge the laws of the United States. And I've been telling you for 3 years and 10 months, yes, that I didn't get any due process. So the petitioner didn't sign the protection order. Yeah. And you issued it for 10 years. Now, I like the idea of charging, yes, as in filing some sort of complaint, yes, against every mandatory reporter of every state of the United States. And you just get 1 day in jail, yes, 363 days suspended sentence. And I have the right to sue you for everything that you will ever write.